Pull the string. Pull the string!
Scoodly, wow, wow, wow.
Bay Area Backstage.
The human brain.
Bay Area Backstage on location at Kirk Von Hammett's FearFestEvil. Check out this panel, There Goes Tokyo, featuring Haruo Nakajima, the original Godzilla, and Ben Furuya, the original Ultraman.
And so we'll get right to it because I'm sure you want to ask the Japanese guests some questions. There's not many people that can say they played legendary giant monster that are still alive, or superhero for that matter, but two gentlemen we have here today do have that distinction. We're going to bring them right out. Mr. Haruo Nakajima, who is Godzilla, Rodan, and many other famous monsters. And Mr. Ben Furuya, was Ultraman.
Well, there are a lot of monsters that I fought. The three-necked ones.
それからゴビから出てきたような怪獣ね。モゲラ。
モゲラ？モゲラ？
そういうのね、動かないんですよ、相手が。
But the enemy didn't move.
首が動いてるだけでね。
Only their necks moved.
で、体が動かない。
But not their body.
だから首は操演の方がこうやってるんですよね。
But there's like a puppet master moving
だ
the
か
necks.
ら立ち回りしようと思っても立ち回りができないんです。
So even if you want to have a sort of a battle with them, it's hard to move.
で、ゴジラは突っ込んでいって相手に曲げるというような形作るわけですね。だから僕は吹っ飛んでいって自分でひっくり返っちゃう。
I would have had to create the battle. I would charge in as Godzilla and try to combat them, but then fall back as if they tackled me.
それでやったつもりが結局俺が最後に勝つような仕草をするわけ。
And so I would sit there and act like it was a great battle that, of course, in the end, I would be triumphant in.
ですからアクションが自分の一人相撲になっちゃうんです。
So it's sort of like I'm directing my own fight with myself.
だから相手が全然何もしてくれないんだよね。
So which was my favorite monster to fight? None of them did anything for me.
だから一人でだからね、これはね、俳優さんのね、得意なもんで、自分の得意な動きを自分でさらけ出すわけ。
But that is my strength as an actor, to make it look as though I have a serious opponent, when in reality I was really only fighting myself.
でも痛いような仕草をしたようなつもりでそれを見せるのが演技力なんです。
And to make it look like it hurt, that is acting.
アクション。
And that's the action.
ゴジラの題名のつく作品は全部好きな仕事です。
Any movie that had the word Godzilla in the title was a favorite of mine.
自分で好きにならなきゃああいう演技はできないんです。
Because if I didn't enjoy what I was doing, I couldn't act the way I did.
Okay?
Right there, stand up.
If you could fight any monster up until current day and they could actually fight back, who would you want to fight?
Jason.
でアクションする人はどんな形でも台本通りにちゃんと演技をします。
It wouldn't matter who the opponent was, I would fight him well.
まあそれが俳優さんなんです。
That's the job of an actor.
怪我はありませんよ。これはね、怪我したように見せかけて演技するのも俳優さんなんです。
Making it look like I was injured, absolutely. But injured, no.
Yes.
水の中がね、怖い。怪我より溺れる。
It was not being injured so much as fear of drowning when I did water scenes.
救急車が来るんだよ。
The ambulance comes.
そんな感じです。ウルトラマンの時は。
When I was Ultraman, that was the scariest time.
もちろんウルトラマン。
Of course, Ultraman.
ゴジラの場合とウルトラマンの場合と撮影のその場所が違うんですよ。だからゴジラの方が規模が大きいの。でこちらの方がセットがねスモールなの。
So the places where we filmed were very different. Godzilla had a much bigger studio lot and different locations that we shot in. Ultraman's studio, by comparison, was quite modest and small.
They did appear in episodes of Ultraman together, with Mr. Furuya playing Ultraman and Mr. Nakajima playing various. Whenever the monster was large and bulky, he seemed to be the actor that they had in the suit.
全部違うんです。だからウルトラマンの場合は主役がウルトラマンでゴジラが向こう行って撮影する場合は別の怪獣をかぶってこうやるんです。ジラスとかね、まあいろんなものがありますよね。だからそれでやるわけですから主役が勝つのは当たり前なの。
そう気持ちいいですよね。
So, did we appear together? The characters appeared together, but they appeared together on Ultraman's show. So, of course, who would win? Ultraman. That's because it was his show.
主役が終わったら、ね、やられたらおしまいなんですよ、その映画は。
Because if he loses, the movie ends, the show ends.
ミーはね、ゴジラでしょ。で、ゴジラが主役なんです。で、いろんな怪獣が来ても必ず勝つ。
So, I'm Godzilla, I'm the star. No matter who comes to fight me on my ground, I'm gonna win.
負けたらその映画はおしまいなんです。
Because if I lose, there goes the movie.
だから面白いね、映画というのは。
That's why movies are fun.
終わってもね、なんか激闘とかね、族やるとかね、そういうふうにやるわけですよ、映画の人はね。会社がやるんですよね、すべて。
And that's why movies are fun, because once the movie closes, then everyone can talk about what happened and have the after parties and all those.
すべてね、台本通りなんですよ。だから台本がうまくないと、あんまりうまくいかないんですよね、俳優さんっていうのは。だからすべてね、一番最初のゴジラってのは、怖さを強調した台本なんです。だから台本通りに私は動くんです。だから結局後に柔らかい感じにそのゴジラになるということになると今度子供向けのその怪獣になるわけです。
It's all about the script. As an actor, as long as there's a good script, I can make it work. And when we started off, Godzilla was scary, and it was all about making him the scary monster. And then gradually the scripts changed a little bit, and there was more of a human element to Godzilla. And as long as the script was good, I was fine with that.
ですから要するにスタッフの皆さんがね気を利かしてね 円谷さん、実はゴジラにも時たま血を流してみたらどうですかと言ったんですよ。そしたら円谷さんがね、子供に見せる映画に血を流しちゃいけないよ。考えろお前さん。
And at some point, someone talked to the director and said, how about if we make Godzilla bleed? And his response was, this is a movie that children watch. We can't have Godzilla bleed.
僕が子供の時にウルトラマンを見たらやっぱりヒーローとして素晴らしいなと思いますね。
I imagine if I had seen Ultraman when I was a child, I would have regarded him as a great hero.
自分の子供は見ました。ウルトラセブンからかな。で、ウルトラマンはビデオで。でもやっぱりかっこいいとは言ってました。
And my children did watch, they grew up with Ultraman 7, and they watched Ultraman on VHS, and yeah, they said it was cool.
子供は見ませんよ。うちの子供はよく来ました。撮影所に来ましたからね、私の子供は。
But my kids used to come to the set.
よく撮影風景を見てました。
So they saw it all being filmed.
だから結局うちの子供ばっかりじゃなくて幼稚園の先生とかね、学校の先生とかそういうこともやっぱり先生が喜ぶんですね、逆に。
And then other people would come, like the neighborhood kids or their kindergarten teachers or the other school teachers, and those people really enjoyed it.
結局監督という円谷という監督はね、子供が大好きなんですよ。だから子供が来るともう喜んで、ああよく見てろというふうに見せるわけですよね。
And the director Tsubara really liked children a lot, and so whenever children came to the set, he would perk up and get all excited and be like, "Watch, look how we do this. See how we do this."
Way back there.
I was just curious because somebody asked Godzilla this already, but Ultraman, you've had a new monster you fought like pretty much every week. What was your favorite monster you fight?
一番好きな相手は中島先輩かな。
My favorite enemy with this guy sitting next to me, my compadre, Mr. Nakajima.
ジラス、ネロンガ、あといっぱい、何本ぐらい先輩入ってたんでしたっけ？5本ぐらい。
How many were you in, senior?
本数が多いからね、忘れちゃうんですよ。台本いただいてもね、次の作品をまた読んでますからね。だから前の作品はもうみんな捨てちゃうんですよ、はっきり言うと、頭の中を。
Because there were so many, and it was always a new script, and so by the time you're reading the new script, you've already forgotten the old one. You got blanked it out of your mind.
だから俳優さんってのは面白いんですよ。頭の中空っぽにしないと次の作品がね、頭の中入ってこないんです。
But that's what's interesting about an actor. You always have to keep your brain empty. Because if it's not empty, there's no room for the next script to go in.
Yeah. And this is for both of them. Both of you being the originals, what are your thoughts on how both of your respective series have come along to modern day?
難しい質問だけどね、映画の場合はテレビと違うんですよ。ウルトラマンの場合はテレビ用の映画なんです。僕の場合は映画館で上映する映画なんです。だから難しいんですよね。一色たりにはできないんですよ。
That's a tough question, and it's, he was a television show, I did movies, and the movies that are shown in a movie theater, they're different.
実はね、監督がね、 僕にそっと来て、俳優さんはダメだね。次は、本人には言わないですよ。僕には言うんですよね。見許しして、静かにね。次は使えませんね。とこういうふうに言う。
Well, interestingly, the director came to me after the first Godzilla movie that I wasn't in, and he said, quietly off the record, that guy wasn't any good. I'm not going to use him next time. Keep it quiet.
だから僕にはっきり言うんですよね。
He was very frank with me.
あの人はいいとかね。
When he said other people were good.
だからあの人はずっと使おうというふうにはっきり言います。僕には。
And so he would always tell me frankly, like, this guy we're going to keep using.
っていうのが出てきたのね。その姿を見て、やっぱりウルトラマンは僕しかできないんだなという、そういう自信がある。
So for me, there were 39 Ultramans, and I was in all of them. And then there came a fake Ultraman. And I saw that, and by that point, I'm happy to say I was confident enough that I was able to look at that and say, no, that's a fake. Only I can be the real Ultraman.
Thank you.
One, I just want to say thank you for being here. You guys are our heroes. Secondly, for Mr. Nakajima, you did a film called War of the Gargantuas. I was wondering, how was that experience different from doing Godzilla movies?
いや、ゴリラの場合は、一番最初の作品のぬいぐるみはね、これがね、100キロあったんです。はい。
So the very first Godzilla movie, the costume, the monster suit that I had to wear weighed 100 kilograms, about 220 pounds.
ところが、サンダ対ガエルの場合はね、ぬいぐるみが軽いんですよ。2キロぐらいしかないんです。
Whereas in War of the Gargan, that one, sorry. The suit was only about 2 kilos, less about 5 pounds.
だからアクションする場合は本当に立ち回りとかいろんな格闘があるでしょ。だからその格闘の時には身軽にできるんですよね。
So it made the action scene so much more interesting because I could really be free with the fighting.
ただし相手がいることなんですよね。
On the other hand, now I had an opponent.
相手もちゃんと俺に合わせてちゃんと来れないとうまくいかないんです。
And the person had to be choreographed with me for the scene to go well.
全部教えてやって、それで打ち合わせをして、でうまくいくようにするのがアクターという。
And so, we talked about the fight scene, how it was going to look, trained, and then shot the scene. That's acting.
まあそれができないような形は俳優さんと言えないんですよね。
And if you couldn't do that, then you weren't an actor.
これはもう3人がかりでちゃんとやってくれますよね。
I had 3 people dressing me.
100キロの重さがありますからね。
As I said, it weighed 220 pounds.
一人じゃ着用できないです。
I couldn't dress myself.
僕の場合もね、いつもぬいぐるみを着るときは5、6人ずっと周りについていて、でチャック、ファスナーを閉めた瞬間、自分では脱げない。
So I also had people helping me, about 5 or 6 people who'd be circling me, getting me dressed, and then at the end, once the zipper was shut, I was trapped. I couldn't undress myself.
そのままスタッフが帰ってしまうと、僕はそのままずっといなきゃならない。
And so if they would leave me there, I was stuck.
怖い。
It's scary. It was a 2-part question. The first question was, to film about 3 minutes of action, how long would that take in filming time? And the second question is, once you were on set, what's the longest filming sequence you ever experienced?
3分撮るためには1週間かかります。
3 minutes took 1 week.
毎日来てます。それも徹夜の時もあります。
Came every day, shot every day, sometimes we pulled all-nighters. Wow.
Thank you.
本数ね、僕の場合は今はでしょうね、ゴジラやったのは12本ですか、12本。
一番いい場面を3分ぐらいあるじゃないですか、ゴジラ。その一番いいところを撮るためには何分ぐらい、何日ぐらいかかった、撮影時間と撮影日数。
監督の一つだからね、
クライマックス。
それ待ち時間もあるけれども、結局撮影する長いそのロングランの撮影日数の場合は難しいね、カットによってね。
That's such a tough question because
だって5分ぐらいで終わる場合もあるし、もう30分ぐらい入ってちゃんとやってる時もあるし、いろいろあるんですよね。
Depends on the actor's skill, on how much you're waiting around, on the director's ability. Sometimes it could take very little time, another time, 30 minutes, another 5 minutes, and then other times you'd be up there for much longer.
だから怪獣と違って黒澤明の場合なんか本当に長いカットがだいたい3分ぐらいは長いですからね。その間静かにずっとみんな待ってるわけですよ。それで針一本ポンと落としてもピーンと響くような感じですよね。広いところでこうやってて、サバネがいっぱいいるわけですよ。その中で針一本落としてもピーンと聞こえるぐらいの静けさでやってるわけですよ。
And then it depends on who you're working with. And I was working with Akira Kurosawa. Shooting for even 3 minutes was a very long take. And there was such a sense of discipline and quiet on set that even if you dropped one pin, bing, it would echo with the noise and you'd have to stop and do everything. It was a very, very strict environment.
ものすごい真剣勝負という感じだね。
Required a very high level of concentration.
ずっと遠くの方までずっと見てて、変な空が歩いてると自分で走っていって、お前どういうふうな気持ちで歩いてんだと。お前ちょっと邪魔になるから帰れ。
I remember him doing things like, there'd be this large set and it would be way off on the horizon and he would see just one extra wandering out of place or something and he would run after that person, catch him and be like, what are you doing here? You're ruining the shot. Get out of here. Go home.
そういう監督ですからね。
That's the kind of director he was.
だから主役がね、いろんな撮影機のちっちゃいアイモン持ってきてやってるわけですよ。遊んでるわけですよ。で主役にお前何やってんだと。お前ちょっと邪魔だから帰れ。主役は帰れと。
And he'd ask some of the actors if he thought they were handling props in the wrong way.
面白いでしょ。
Playing with things they shouldn't be. He's like, what are you doing? You go home too. To the actors, it was very interesting.
主役がクビになっちゃって。
Firing actors on the movie set.
で主役が変えちゃうんだからね。
And then changing new people in.
本当面白いですよ。
Very interesting.
最初のゴジラですか？あれはうちの会社がね、ゴジラという名前を売ったけれども、キャラクターまで売ってないんですよ。
So in that movie, the movie studio in Japan sold the name, but the name only, not the character itself.
だからゴジラっていう名前だけ売ったんだから勝手にしなさいと。でできたのが、ね、アメリカの人が帰っておかしいね。ブーイングするっていうのはね。
And so they literally said, here's the name, do what you want with it. And so what they came up with was, wow, it was different.
でもあれだけ頑張ってやってんだからうまくいってんですよね。
But I mean, I think they put that much energy and investment in it and they pulled it off.
中で働いてる新聞記者の人がいましたよね。あれが東宝に来て遊びに来たんですよ。 それで僕と話をして、でアクションの具合も全部教えてやったんですよ。だから感心してましたよか、新聞記者の役の人。それ出てましたですよ。
And the person who played Godzilla in that movie actually came to Toho in Japan to meet me, and I walked him through everything that I did and how the action and stuff moved, and he was impressed with what it took. Obviously, it wasn't something I planned. I was off one day, and casting and
We are in retreat.
Come and show them where I am.
Destroy the humanoid. Intruder alert, intruder alert. Intruder mana escape.